Hello everyone and welcome to wsTOOLS presentation on tools for Dynamics GP users. Hi, I'm Deb Slutmone. I'm the president and owner of Implementation Specialist, and I am super excited to show you guys some of our tools that are for the GP products. You probably have been in one of our other sessions around either job cost or service tools, but this one's more focused on everyday tools that all GP users use and love to make their products more efficient and make their jobs easier. So let's take a look at some of those products and what those look like. As you can see, we've got tools in the financial modules, purchasing, system, sales, and of course tons around HR and payroll. We're going to break that down, taking a look at some of the financial tools. So let's get started with a bunch of tools here that I think you guys will really like. A lot of these, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to demo for you as well. So you're going to be able to see both a lot of PowerPoint and some actual demos of some of these tools in action, okay? When we're talking about GP and the tools in GP, these are come directly a lot from customer requests. And one of the biggest ones was customers hated how GP works with inventory as far as the lot numbers and the rounding and 500 products at 12 cents and then one product at $5 million, right? And they just hated that. We actually made a product that fixes that. So if you have lot numbers and you hate that rounding and how it does that one and really screws up your costing, come and see us. I'm not going to demo that one for you today because it really does exactly that. It takes that one item that's rounded and doing all that, difference between all the products and the decimals. It just fixes it. Fixes it both on the items and on the GL. The next one is on posting controls. And if you have specific rules in your organization around posting, so if you edit a batch, you can't be the one to post it. If it's coming in from different places, different controls on that overall posting, who does it, when it can happen, who edits the batch, who can take it. We have different rules around posting, and a lot of times GP does certain things but doesn't control once you touch it. It might lose approval, but if you're still an approver, you can reapprove your batch and away you go. Ours is going to take that headache out of it. So if you are an approver, and you also edit, you can't approve your own batches. So that's kind of a fun one as well. Simply Use, any of you that have to do use tax, we have two different versions of Simply Use, both for purchasing and for the sales side, depending upon where you're doing your costing and your inventory transactions. So Simply Use is one of our products and works on the payable side so nice and easy, even without job cost or service. If you just need to record use tax, it does a great job. You check a box and it records it into use tax, which is super when it comes to tax reporting. GLBankBridge. Oh, now guys, remember, we're just talking financial modules here so far, and you've already seen how many tools that you can say, these would be great tools for everyday life. GLBankBridge is exactly that. If you need to put a transaction into GL, but it's going to hit a checkbook, oh, I can't copy paste because I got to do it from bank. Oh, there's so many things wrong. Guess what? GLBankBridge is going to allow you to do those transactions in the general ledger, and if it sees a transaction that belongs in the checkbook, it's going to pop up and ask you if you want to put that in your checkbook at the same time. Best thing ever. I'm going to show you that one today as well. Summary Recalc. Oh, guys, just got done with year end. I know you guys were all perfect. You didn't do any sales transactions that weren't in last year and this year, and you didn't do any payables. Everything was perfect, right? Well, we all know that's not how real world works. And so when you look at payables and receivables, you want to know that when someone's going to run a smart list, they're going to have accurate data. And if you're not closing exactly on time, no transactions in wrong year, right, based on the close, or you forget to close, which we all have done, right, this tool resets it. No more do we worry about when are we going to write checks, when are we going to create invoices, when are we going to post, because if I'm not done, I can't post because I need this number to be right. Summary Recalc takes that all away. You can recalc your numbers every day if you want for the current period. If you know 5 years ago was wrong, so don't look at those numbers from 5 years ago because they're wrong, right? Well, let's go 2 years ago. They're wrong, last year's are wrong. What you're going to be able to do is recalc these. So if you notice here, You can see current calendar year, fiscal year, previous calendar year, previous fiscal year. It's just recalculating the numbers in the summary windows. So no matter who pulls what report into SmartList, who pulls what report into SSRS, if they're using the values based on calendar years, current last year, life to date numbers, they're always going to be correct, whether it's in payables or receivables. We used to do this by hand. A lot of our large companies could not risk having data exposed to the outside that could possibly be incorrect. So this was kind of a common one that we were always doing. We just always did it in SQL. So really what we did is we hooked on a couple nice front windows for you guys, and now you guys can run it all the time. This is one of my new favorites. I brought this to Summit last year, and remember when we all could still travel? Yeah, I brought this one to Summit, and I will tell you, every time I look at this, I get super excited because I know what an impact it does on every day. And so I am going to show you this one, and you're going to love this one. And I think we are to the end of our first set of slides, and we're going to jump in. We're going to take a look at a couple of these tools. So everybody, let's take a look and see get on the right box here. So I'm going to start us off with this customer inquiry. So we have it both on customers and vendors, okay? And I'm going to tell you, we haven't taken over like your regular transaction. This is your regular screen, right? Transaction, everybody's used to this screen. We use it, hundreds of times, I bet, a week we're in this screen, right? Whether it's on the customer or on the vendor. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of side by side just so you guys see this, okay? Here we go. And I'm going to bring up my other guy. Oh, that was on vendor. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put them both on customer so you guys get a good picture. Okay. And so now this is what you're used to working with today. Okay. Everybody with me? So if I was going to bring up 101 over here, this is typically what I would see. This is the first thing I do. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I do this a lot during the day. And so I come in, well, of course, I got to uncheck history, and then I got to redisplay. Okay, and then I got to hope somebody ran pay transaction removal, at some point, because, that's key on this window, right? And you're going to see how my windows are going to really have fun with me today, so hang in there. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so guys, take a look at this. Now, right away, you've already seen me not have to do 4 clicks. This is how my window comes in. We purposely said only show open because when I come into this window, if I want to see work, I want to make that effort to see work. If I want to see history, I want to make the effort to see history. So you notice we're only checking that box. We're also showing you the aging date because right here, when you're talking to Accurate Printing and you're saying, wow, I see this 181 and over, and you click on it, and guess what? Now the bottom of your window now works on that aging bucket. Okay. Next best thing ever, the customer says, I don't have that 1050 in my records. What is it? Watch this. Double click, people. Did you see that? How many times do you say, if it would only work that way, right? And now look at, there are the invoices in front of me. I didn't have to try to figure out where am I driving to. It was a simple double click. I'm on the invoice. I can reprint, resend, do all my same stuff here. But my favorite thing is, of course, all my windows are sortable, of course, like I would want, right? More columns than you can imagine, right? And all of my buckets, I really love the ability to see total amount due. Guess what, guys? Unless you're a math genius, over here, you're not seeing that total due, okay? At the same time, I want to focus in on that 61 to 90 because that's really where I want people to focus in their time as far as collections go. Because when they're saying, oh, yeah, this one's getting a tiny bit old, let's make sure we get that collected because that would really tidy up that account, right? Well, if we can get them all collected too, definitely, don't get me wrong. But, okay, are you ready? Here's the best thing ever. Total 60,000. The customer says, can you just give me a quick list of those? Because I'll compare back to my records because, it makes it much easier for me. You hit your Excel button and guess what? That Excel load is happening, okay, somewhere here on my screen. And you can see now all the transactions that currently are right here are now in here. And no matter if I was just like on a 120, get my 1440 here back, my 180. And again, dropping to Excel here, what you're going to see is just the transactions that are displayed right here in the window. So if the customer needs them, quick, easy, right there you go. Nice, simple product. This comes in a bundle where you can buy it Customer Inquiry Plus and Vendor Inquiry Plus. Simple, easy. It doesn't take the place. So if you've got some of those people that are really used to this window and they love that window, we're not taking over for that window. That window's still there, but guess what? This window will be your new favorite. Look at Add to Shortcuts. It's coming right over here for you. And again, you do have a print here. So if you want to print it, away you go. Okay, so guys, take a look at that one. Wasn't that one fun? That is your first new fabulous tool, Customer and Vendor Inquiry Plus. Okay, let's jump on to one of the other ones. Let's talk a little bit about BankBridge, because BankBridge is one of my other ones that I get really excited about. So I'm going to put that messy screen down for just a minute. And I'm going to jump over to my other server just to show you that whether you're on 15, 16, 18, all of these things are going to work, and they're going to work really well for you. Okay, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to show you Cards Financial Checkbooks. I want you to see a checkbook, okay, because you guys all are used to your checkbook screen. Hopefully your checkbook's in balance. Okay, mine's probably not. I haven't posted for a while. Look at my checkbook number, 000-1100-00. Everybody with me on that? Just a standard GL number. When I go over here, whether I copy paste, whether I type it in, okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do test, and I'm going to come down here, whether I'm on my Key to Act screen or my regular screen. As soon as I'm going to fund that account, I'm going to put some money in there, okay, and I'm going to take it out of one of my other accounts. So I'm just going to take it out of my savings, okay. Get it balanced. Okay, everybody take a look at this. This would be a standard entry. And like I said, if you wanted to use your paste, it works perfectly on paste. Okay, now here, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my post button. And when I post, take a look at that. Do you want to add the entry into bank? Absolutely perfect. Now my controllers don't have to learn bank rec. They don't have to know increase, decrease adjustments. All they need to do is say add, create the bank transaction, and guess what? There's your increase adjustment. It knows whether we're going positive or negative, okay? And if you had a few transactions in there, it is going to add those up for you. Okay, now I'm going to post that through, close out of that, and guess what? My bank's updated, my GL's updated, everybody is perfectly happy. Was that not a fun thing to do? Let's go ahead, and here I'm going to do a decrease just so you can see the decrease run too, okay? And it runs off of it looks at the cards, the checkbooks, and if it sees a GL number there that's on one of those checkbooks, it's going to trigger and it's going to fire every time. Okay, and if you don't want it to fire, if you say, oh, nope, I'm correcting, because sometimes we have to correct, then really what you're going to be able to do is say, nope, don't run it. Okay, so now this time I'm doing a decrease adjustment. Doesn't matter what order, as long as it sees it in the window, it's going to run for you. Okay, and I'm going to post that one right through. Again, you're seeing the window. You're saying, do you want to add it? And I'm going to say add. I'm going to create that bank transaction right there every time. Absolutely perfect. It's creating the cash to cash entry, people. That's all it's doing. Not super fancy, but it's one less thing for your controllers to do. Now, that was pretty fun, don't you think? Let's take a look real quick at our summary recalc, just so you guys get an idea of what that does. So you're probably all familiar with cards purchasing summary. Okay, you guys all know what these windows look like. You've been in this yearly window a million times, and every time you come in and you say calendar year and you calculate, right? Because you got to make sure it's right. You got to make sure it's right. That's key. And depending upon when you closed, not anything about amount since last close. This has nothing to do with what's actually in the window or in the buckets. It's actually about when the close happened. So what our summary recalc does is it just realigns those buckets with the date. So just like you hitting that calculate every time, but we're going through and we're calculating the entire thing at one sweep. So let's say you're done with your payables for 28-19, and you know what? 5 come in that you weren't expecting. They were sitting on somebody's desk and now you've already closed. You're done. Oh, now what? My numbers are wrong. Don't think about 1099s, because 1099s are in their own little realm, right? But just all, the amounts that you paid the vendor, the amounts that you invoiced, same thing with the customer. All those numbers are off. And those smart lists that everybody loves and everybody uses, they're based on these numbers. So they need to be right, okay? all you need to do is with our payables summary recalc tool, or we also have it for receivables, okay? You come in here and you tell it to recalc. And you put in the date that you want to recalc, okay? I want to do the previous calendar year or the current calendar year. You see it's reading my year, so it knows that. And I hit process, okay? Oh, sorry guys, for some reason I'm on one that's giving me a little bit of grief right now. I'm going to go back over to receivables. I'm going to try that one more time, forgive me. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it to process. And there you go. It's as quick and easy as that. Forgive my payables one. I think my development team is probably having a little fun with me today. Okay, but they both work the exact same way. So on your customer card for the summaries, again, if people are pulling those in to a smart list or to an SSRS report, they're pulling in those values. And you guys have all seen them when you're saying, where do those customer numbers come from? Where do those summary numbers come from? If you're not making sure your closes are right, or you forget to close, those numbers that they're pulling in current year to date, last year to date are going to be wrong. This tool takes care of all of that. You can even do the previous year and process that one just as fast. Okay, super easy. You can run it as many times as you need to. So like I tell my customers during our year-end visits, I say, really? Do what you do at month end, do what you do at year end. Don't stress about posting, not posting, holding things, not holding things. Put your information in, keep your accounting practices going, and you know what? Recalc will take care of what bucket sits in, and it will make sure your data is right every time. Okay, so those were a few of ours just on the financial. And if you can see, we talked about BankBridge, we talked about summary recalc, we talked about customer vendor inquiry, and I know those are some really fun ones for us all to put into our toolbox and to start using on the GL. Now guys, let's switch over and let's start talking about a few of the purchasing tools, because we've got a few there that I think a lot of you might like. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. I know you guys all love my PowerPoint here. So let's jump back here for a second and get this one up so you can see it a little bit better. And what we're talking about here is on the purchasing side, we've got a number of different tools here. And let's just go ahead and jump through these. QuickPO. This one's one of my favorite tools, and I know I probably have said that already 20 times, and we've only done a handful of tools, but QuickPO is one, if you have ever had to have your accounting team do nothing but give out POs, so people will need one whether they're at a box store, hardware store, they've been instructed they can't put something on the account without a PO. It is a grueling process, right? And your AP, AR clerks hate the fact of having to stop everything, go over to the PO screen, get a PO, and go back to what they're doing, right? And the same thing with the people in the field. You know, if we just need a PO and we need to assign that PO, guess what? We have QuickPO. What it means is you send an email to a specified email box, right? So just like I'm going to email over to need PO, okay? I'm going to email over to, GP at your company address. You make those boxes, we help with it. And what happens is that email gets picked up by the SQL server and says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a PO, and then I'm going to email that PO right back to that end user. How cool is that? They need a PO, we give them a PO. No one has to stop what they were doing, switch over, grab a PO, make sure everything gets done to be able to get somebody that PO. And guess what? Their day, they might be walking into Home Depot and they say, I'm going to need a PO because I'm going to have to pick up 5 of these and 6 of these and 7 of these, right? But all they really need is that PO number. So when they put their card into Home Depot, they put that PO number in, and then that charge goes to that PO. And then all the paperwork hopefully follows suit as well. But the QuickPO, one of my favorites, it's just a little email application, super easy. And if your company is one that requires POs for everything they do, you might want to look at adding that into your toolbox. Okay. The next one, again, super simple. Okay. PO vendor change. How many times have you put in a payable? You thought it was this payable. Okay, you with me? You thought it was this payable, but guess what? It was this vendor. Nope, not that vendor, different vendor. Shoot, got to start all over. I've already done all the distributions, I've done all the work, and it was just the wrong vendor. PO vendor change and PM vendor change, both fix those for you. Okay, on the PO, vendor can't get it for you, can't get you the goods. Guess what? not have to redo it, don't have to copy it, don't have to waste another PO. You just run PO vendor change. I'm going to show you that one. I'm going to show you it on the payable side as well. And I'm going to show you one of our tools called PM Unapply, where it allows you to do things on the Unapply side you typically can't do in GP. So when you think about those of you that have ran RM Unapply, when you can fix open items on receivables, we've made the same thing, only on payables, okay? So let's take a look at a few of these and let's just see what we have here. So everybody hang with me. I'm gonna get my environment back up for us. And I know it gets messy because I get 500 windows going at one time. You know how it is. So let's take a look at a couple of the tools that we're going to show here. I'm not going to show you the QuickPO one, just so you guys know. It is exactly what I say. You send an email, email comes back and says, create a PO. Not hard at all. Okay. This one, we're going to go ahead. We're going to make a, oopsie, we're going to add in a vendor here. Okay, put in some amounts. I'm doing all my hard work here first, right? I'm going to my distributions and I'm, going through grueling distributions here, multiple splits, you know how it is, right? And then I go back and I'm like, oh no, it wasn't Allenson, it was somebody else. So what I do then is I go up and I can go easily into the change vendor ID. If you take a look, change vendor ID, I come over here and now remember my vendor ID field it's not able to be changed. I'd have to delete and start over. And we all know how bad we hate to delete and start over. Well, I can go ahead, change it here, tell it to commit, and now look, advanced office. If my grueling work back here was already done, it's going to stay done. Okay. If you need to make changes on that, feel free. Go ahead and make changes. We are not posted at this point. So again, everything could be deleted, but nice, simple, easy tool without you having to do a lot of work. Okay. That is PM vendor change. Let me show you PO vendor change. Okay, same concept, absolute same concept. But what you're going to see is here, when I go ahead, I'm going to make a new PO just so you see everything here. And again, I'm going to go to telephone company. I'm going to put in, my order here. Oh, better assign it to that vendor. So everything like I normally would do, I'm going to do again here. Okay. I'll order in some of those guys, going through my order, doing everything like I normally do. Okay, whether this is saved, I can't be receiving and I can't be trying to invoice. You know what I'm saying there? So if you have saved it, it needs to be in a state that is not received yet to be able to use this tool. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say additional and I'm going to say change vendor ID. Now remember, I'm sitting here at Attractive Telephone Company and I'm going to change that to American and I'm going to commit that change. And now what you're going to see is I now have that America charge on my vendor. Okay, this one actually was a little bit tricky. I probably should have set this one up a little bit better because my vendor item didn't have it fully synced in. But as easy as that, when you are putting in a PO, got all the work done, you just go up and use your additional and it's going to go ahead and do all the extra work for you. Okay. Now guys, I skipped over one on the financial series. I'm just going to route us back to that one here real quick, just so you can see how this one is going to work too, because when I'm here and I'm looking at my use tax, remember I talked to you about that simply use a while back. And if you notice here on my use tax, there's my use tax window right here. I got my North Dakota Fargo use going. All I need to do is go ahead and put that in as North Dakota use tax. And my use tax is going to start calculating there for me as well. Okay, nice, simple, easy one as well to be able to record that use tax, checking that box and seeing that use tax now is recorded. And if you notice over here, my miscellaneous and my tax are correct. The miscellaneous is just really reversing out that tax. But if take a peek at the distributions, my distributions now are corrected for that use tax, being able to put the tax expense for the use tax against a job or service call if needed, or simply just book it as an entry into use tax, okay? And recording the payable as well. This is going to post over into your tax reports, so you are set there as well for reporting So when you go ahead and do your sales and use tax, you're not having to try to figure out where's the spreadsheet, is it updated, because you're going to mandate that going through on the transactions as end users are using vendors that may have that use tax associated with them. Okay. So guys, one more tool here on this side, which is our PM Unapply tool. And this one is, again, it's a newer tool. We've had it out for a little bit, but what you're going to see here is on the PM Unapply is things that typically would require, 4 voids. Oh my gosh, so many debit memos, credit memos to get something to work. And what get a vendor up here that has a few transactions for us. Okay, and redisplay. Now, typically a vendor that's got a historical transaction, okay, if you take a look on this historical transaction, I would end up having to void this payment to be able to get the invoices that were applied to it corrected. Okay, you guys with me on that? So when you take a look at my invoices here, that invoice, I can't just reapply that. And the last thing that I really want to do is void a payment that's been cashed, right? You're all with me on this. So what we've developed is what's called PM Unapply, and it allows you to take a historical payment and not void it, but just simply unapply it. So I can come in and I can unapply that, okay? And now when I take a look at that vendor again and redisplay, what you're going to see is that amount has not been, sorry, I'm going to try that one more time just so I keep track of which one I actually voided, so forgive me. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this $500 right here, and I'm going to unapply that for ABC1. Okay, it's my 3/7/2017 transaction, and I'm going to unapply that one. Okay, and my ABC1 again here. Now if I redisplay, what you're going to see is if I look at only my open, my transaction should be sitting right there for me, but let me go ahead and close that and come back up. Okay, in ABC1, and now if I redisplay, my $500 is sitting there on the invoice side, but guys, on the open side, there should be a transaction right here for me, and you can see evidently I've done something to my sample data, so forgive me on that one. But what it does is it brings it right back, and then you have the ability to reapply it, okay? And typically this is where I would be looking at, okay, what do I need to reapply it to? So I'm going to go back. Sorry, guys. I know what I was doing wrong there. Forgive me. Go back on this side. Take a look at it here. And again, see, now my $500 has been moved to open. Forgive me, I was trying to show it to you in the wrong window. My $500 has been moved back to open. And now I can go ahead and I can reapply that. So any transactions that were applied to it originally also have been moved to open. It's not doing a void, okay? So it still leaves the transaction intact. The GL is perfect, okay? But what it's doing is saying, hey, the $500 that you paid that vendor, the vendor said he's returning the goods that you paid, or you're returning the goods that you paid him. He's going to leave the 500 open on your account. So guess what? Anything that you needed to, you could reapply that to other open invoices, okay? Or simply leave it as a credit on the account, okay? So did you guys all catch that one? I know I did that one really bad, so forgive me. But simple process when you're looking at our unapply, and let's go ahead and let's just take a look at that one more time, okay? And we're going to go to our attractive telephone company. We're going to redisplay. Okay, so everybody so far so good. Attractive telephone company. We're going to go ahead and we're going to unapply the 271.62. And I'm going to go ahead and check the box, say okay, and unapply. Now I'm going to go back on my regular inquiry, or you could use the new fancy one. Either one works. And bring up my attractive, and I'm going to go to my uncheck my history, redisplay here. So now there's my 271.62 ready to be worked on. Okay, so if I needed to go back in to purchasing and apply, so I'm going to go back to my apply. You know it's going to jump out here in front of me. Okay, and my attractive, you're going to see now that payment, okay, that 271.62 is able to be fully reapplied. So if they said, hey, you know what, we issued you a credit on that, we're keeping your check because we cashed it, right? We're keeping your check, Mr. Vendor, Mr. Customer. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that on your account. Feel free to apply it to any open items that you may have. So then I could come back in and I could find an open one and I could reapply it, and without having to do the void, the debit memo, credit memo, and start that whole process again. Okay. I think that one's a really fun tool. So guys, try that one out. And we are moving to our next section. So back we go to our PowerPoint and let's see what's on deck next. Okay. Looks like we're moving into system. And for time's sake, I'm going to tell you guys, because you know how these times go. We run through it really quick, but we run out of time every time. So what we're going to do is get my PowerPoint going again here, guys. So hopefully you guys are all doing okay and finding some new great fun tools that everybody likes. We're going to take a look at some of our system tools, and these ones are really some fun ones. Some of you might have some of these already because they're really popular. One of ours is actually what we call our drawer tool. It used to be made just for HR, so it used to be called our HR drawer, but now we've renamed it because we use it across all customers, vendors, payroll items, everything, all of your master records. Okay, so what this is going to do, if you are familiar with Doc Attach and being able to scan documents, contracts, 1099s, W9s, all that kind of stuff. If you're able to scan those today and put them into Doc Attach, it's great, perfect, absolute amazing module, right? But what customers wanted is they wanted, our HR ones especially, wanted folders. They didn't want to just drop those things in, right, with no organization. And they wanted security behind each of these. So what we did was we made a little product that sits on top of Doc Attach. So it allows you to make and name the folders, and you have 10 folders, and it allows you to secure them to the user level. So my user might get to see applications in this example, and it might get to see benefits, but it definitely doesn't get to see terminations or discipline. Okay, so you can secure it to that level, but you're making those folders on every master card that we have. So think about employees, huge, right? Customers, okay, credit limit, credit decisions, all of that kind of information. Vendors, contracts, negotiations, documents there. You might want to really secure some of that. And the same thing on items and different specs and being able to have only certain individuals see them. That's our drawer product. The next product we have is called Speed Switch. This is actually one that can speed up the switching between companies. So if you have payroll and you have multiple companies, this one is really in your advantage because it's a small tool, works completely behind the scenes, but it can save you up to 15 seconds every time you switch companies. And you're saying, oh, 15 seconds, it's not bad. Customers that need this need this. So what GP did a long time ago was when it used to count employees. And what I mean is every time you'd switch companies, since it made sure that you had to buy employees back then, just so you guys know, you had to buy them. You didn't get them for unlimited like you do now. Okay. So every time you switch companies, it'd have to say, okay, how many employees do we have? And are we within our threshold, right? So every time you switched companies, it had to count all of your companies. So if you had 100 companies, SQL was busy counting. It would just count, count, count. Well, what happened was when they changed licensing quite a few years back, they never got rid of the counting. So every time you switch companies and you add more companies, it's still counting, right? And the more employees you have, the longer it takes to count, but it's still counting. And it still counts through every company before it lets you in and before it switches. Speed Switch gets rid of the counting. That's all it does, gets rid of the counting, okay? But it gives you some time back every day. Okay, guys, next ID is a simple one. So if whether you have customers or vendors, some of ours just like the ability to have that next number automatically generated for them. And certain products, some of the ones that are out today don't work well with some additional add-ons. So if you have tried some of the next IDs that are out there and they don't work for you, try ours. At the same time, we do a number of GP integrations. So whether it's taking the 1095 file from your provider, right? Blue Cross Blue Shield, Wellmark, any of those, we can take that 1095 file and we can import it right into GP. Now, I'm going to tell you that that's going to use Excel, and we have pretty much standardized the format that we get from the providers, but there's still a few things that you need to do to that file. We give that tool away absolutely for free. Okay, so if you struggle with 1095s, you have the Excel doc and you're doing so much work, call me and you can have that 1095 importer and you can have it for free and we will help you with the process. Okay, it still will work with green shades. It will just put them into GP. It will make those 1095s, even for those people that aren't employees, those pension people, the retired owners, people that are still getting benefits, but they're not getting a paycheck, so they're not getting a W-2. And there's a struggle for us all to get through to 1095s, those non-employees. These take care of a lot of that. Time imports, whether you have a different time clock, it makes a file, but nobody knows what to do with the file. We have time imports that we do, lots of different ones that we do, and different ways that they even archive those time files for you. So you don't have to do any of that extra, okay, where am I going to put the file? And I've got to keep that file. Our time import takes care of that. Same thing with our micros. We have a micros connect. So a lot of our gas stations, convenience stores, small grocery stores use micros. A lot of our restaurants use micros. And what we do with micros connect is we actually um, connect micros into GP. So no more hand keying of the sales data per day. Micros is actually talking back and forth with SQL. And so at the end of every day, we do a daily tie out process, and that feeds into GP to do the recording of the sales back into GP. Same thing with Epic. Epic is definitely for our healthcare. Healthcare has tons of financial transactions going back and forth, updating back and forth, keeping receivables, keeping inventory in line. Epic is doing the lifting on all of the transactional information inside of Epic and healthcare. But what we're doing is we're actually having Epic feed us through a GL map all the transactions that we need in GP to keep the accounting side up to date. Okay. And of course, Subway. We have a whole Subway import that works with Subway and their franchise system. So if you know of anybody that has Subways, send them our way because we definitely can help there. These ones, I'm not gonna show you any of these except if you want more information, let me know. But we develop a lot of applications for outside applications to connect the two together. This is just really a quick listing, but I want to keep those in front of you guys so you know that we have a lot of those that we help with as well. Okay, and just giving you a little bit more on those as we talk about those. And I want to show you the drawer product, but I'm going to show you that after I talk about a couple of these. I know you guys are probably bored to death with our payment or our PowerPoint at this point, but these are a couple fun ones again. So I'm going to show you a few of these, but PaymentReapply is one that when you have to record a payment, you need to get it into the bank. You think it's for this customer, but you're not really sure. And some of you might have an actual customer called, unknown or, unapplied because you just have, your requirement is that all cash is recorded and all cash is to bank, even though if you may not have the correct customer. PaymentReapply can fix that because it allows you to take a payment in, apply it to the best customer, okay? And then if it does come back and say, oh, that was the wrong customer, because that does happen to us, right? You can actually unapply it and the system will do all of that for you. Okay, so no more 14 transactions to get a payment fixed. Okay. The next one is Quick Collect. And Quick Collect, people love Quick Collect because it allows you to take the collections out of collections. Okay, probably the worst job at every company is somebody has to make the collection calls. Somebody has to call people and ask for money. Well, what happens is Quick Collect, it does that. The SQL Server is saying based on your terms, your classification, okay, tells what customers get what notices. Super simple, right? And if you notice here, this is the email that SQL is going to send out. It's going to say, hey, we're showing these that are past due, but nobody in your company is saying do that. SQL Server is just saying, go out and send some emails for me based on these values. So those customers that might have missed those, now we're going to be looking for them. And this one is going to pay for itself very fast because you don't have to convince somebody at your office to do the collection calls. So again, all you're doing is putting in a few setup options. And then SQL is going out and doing that lifting for you and saying, okay, if a customer is 12 days past due, because I want them to know at 12 days, right? It's going to send them a nice message, right, at 12 days. At 37 days, you can send another message just saying, you know, hey, I'm still seeing these outstanding. Different message, but again, you guys get the concept there. But you're not having to say, okay, guys, sales team, we have to do some collection calls today. We've got to increase cash flow. You're knowing that I'm putting this tool in place, and every day the system's going to go out and it's going to do the collections for me, and I'm not having to worry about it except making sure that at one point the customer's not, you know, putting us into like a junk mail or something. Okay, Discounts Plus is we've created a couple different discount engines because sometimes the discount methods that are out there just don't work for us all. Okay, whether it's based on a class, a specific item class combination, there's just different ways that people want discounts in the system without having to do a lot of extra work or having the end users as they're putting in those discounts on the sales transactions do a ton of extra work. So again, we've got a rules engine. If you need those, come see me. I can show you all of those. Okay. So let's take a look at a few of these. I'm going to switch back and I'm going to show you a couple here quick. And I know we're getting really low on time, so I'm going to be really fast on these guys, so forgive me. But on our payment reapply, nice thing about that one is, again, super easy to use as far as that end user process goes, being able to just easily unapply a transaction, okay? And I got to find my screen here, forgive me. And you know, it's always like right in front of me. So I'm going to go back to a customer card where I know I can find it super easy here. And I'm going to take a look at a payment. Now this payment, if you notice, is voided. So that one's not going to work too well for me. I got to find one that's not voided. Here we go. So this guy right here, he's not voided. He will work and he's an open. So if you're thinking, wow, we have our transactions in history a lot, that's not a problem. You're just going to run your RM Unapply first, which is a free tool from Pistol, and then you're going to be able to go and run our Unapply tool. So I'm going to go back here to my document. I'm looking at my document that I need to move to a different customer. And I'm going to go to my additional. And if you notice, I've got my back out here, and I'm going to tell it to back out. There's my window. It's simply going to go ahead and do an unapply, and then it's going to wait for me to put in my new customer and put it into a batch. So then I can go ahead and put that one back in. Okay. And so then this is going to create, yep. Sorry guys, put my fields in, forgive me. So I've got, go to my Lake Park Golf Supply, my favorite customer. I'm going to put it into a batch. Okay. If I don't have a batch there, I can make the batch and then create the transaction. It's not going to do the apply for me here, just so you guys know, because I'm going to need to go to my apply window and do that, but it's going to back it out of here and it's going to put it into here. Okay. Kind of a nice, easy, fun one. A lot of our customers love that one because of that requirement to post their cash every day. Okay. Couple more quick ones. I'm just going to show you real fast here on the HR drawer product because I know some of you guys like that one. So I'm under my additional and I can see my drawer right here. And again, what you're seeing is what I have predetermined were my values for my folders. And this one actually has one that we've already put in. So you can take a look and see that my drawer here, if I right click on it, you can see my drawer is only showing me what's in my folder that I have access to. Okay, now here, once I get in, it's going to work just like drawer does. Okay, super easy, but isn't that a cool little product? So if you really struggle with doc attach as way too wide open, anybody that gets in there can do things, can see things. Our little drawer product does a nice job. Okay, so those were a couple that I wanted to show you on that section. Now I want to go back and I want to hit a few of our payroll tools because we have some really great payroll tools. We have a lot of payroll customers here. So they are a fun bunch, but they need a lot of stuff and they're large payrolls. So the more stuff that we can do to help them, the better everybody is. And one of our tools is PayrollRewind. So we've all been in that jam where we've got a large payroll running. We've got a check in there that's wrong. That whole payroll is going to the bank. Okay, you guys are all with me. The whole payroll is going to the bank. I can't fix my ACH file in the middle because I always break it. Okay. What PayrollRewind does is when you're doing your void on your payroll, it's going to ask you if, number one, have you sent the file to the bank? Have you loaded the transactions to the bank? If you say no, it's going to pull that transaction out of the bank because it's out of the ACH file because it's going to know you don't want to send it. That's something you guys can't do today. Okay, at the same time, the next question is going to be, do you want me to put all the transactions back into the payroll transaction entry window? So you know how it is when you're a payroll person and you're really, really under the gun, okay? And you've got to get this thing to the bank and you got to redo the transactions and it just gets worse, right? It's break, break, fix, fix, try, worse, right? And there's tears everywhere and I'm right there with you. So what PayrollRewind does is it allows your payroll people, if they know they need to do a void, they do the void. If they haven't sent the check to the bank, if they haven't sent the ACH file to the bank, they can correct just the transaction they need to. The transactions all go back into payroll transaction entry. They can fix, put the pay raises in, put the increases in that they needed, that maybe they were missed, and reprocess, and now they're ready back to send to the bank again. Every payroll needs this tool. Every payroll. Handoff. Handoff is one of my favorites. I know, I'm sure you guys are counting how many times I'm saying that, so sorry. But Handoff, I am a payroll. I can put in my transactions, I can build and calculate, but I am not allowed to print checks. It's one of our controls, just so you guys know. I'm not allowed to print checks. I got to hand off over to Sharon, and Sharon is the printer, okay? Now in GP regular, just so you guys know, that can't happen. Whoever builds and calculates has to be the one that prints, okay? And I will tell you, we've tried this many ways with, okay, try to share users, it doesn't work. You need handoff. Handoff says move that from one to the next so that you can print. If you have controls in play today that say who builds and calculates can't print, you need handoff. Our FTE Refreshable, great Excel refreshable. Guys, it's an absolute free thing. If you need that, come see us. We have so many things around refreshables. Come see us. They're free. They're yours. PTO Liability Report. Every 2 weeks, you can copy paste your PTO liability right into the GL. In less than 2 seconds, you will have an updated PTO liability report. It is absolutely free. Come see me. I will give it to you. Okay? All kinds of services we offer here. Guys, we're about the customer, about helping customers, whether it's support, consulting, training, development, all of those pieces we do every day, 100% for customers. We have a 4-day event in Fargo, sunny Fargo, in November. It's called our Great Plains User Conference, GPUC. We have a couple hundred people that come in. We probably have 15 different vendor sponsors. 2 of those days are dedicated solely to Key to Act. The other 2.5 days are dedicated strictly to GP and GP functionality. You will see all of your favorites, whether it's Green Shades, whether it's Key to Act, whether it's E1, all the great ISVs are there. My whole team is there. We are at the Microsoft campus for those days. Absolutely phenomenal technology in an event to network, talk with the rest of our customers. If you've never been there, come see us, come hang out, okay? Guys, we have now spent an entire hour together. I am so excited to show you all of the fun things that my team makes. I can't do it here. I can't create these things without a great, amazing team behind me every day that make the cool stuff. I do come up with some of the ideas and usually they boo, but great products, great people here. If you need us, we're here to help. My contact information is just Deb, DEB, at iscorp.biz. I am able to answer all of your questions. Sad that we all missed synergy this year as far as being together, but come hang out with us in November. I'm hoping that everybody's safe and healthy and we get to November and we're ready to have a great time at GPUC, and call us anytime. We're here to help. Thanks, everyone.
Wait, everyone. I want to make sure you know about our Synergy specials. If you buy 1 product, you get 10% off, 2 products, 20%. If you buy 3 or more, 30% off your tools. So definitely check us out. If you have any questions, here's our contact information at sales@iscorp.biz, our phone number, or again, our website to check out our tools. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.